They think a lie is a sentence. It isn't. It's an eclipse. You don't detect a liar by listening harder to their words. You detect them by watching the sky dim for a fraction of a second. And if you miss that dimming, you will swear the sun never moved. The world has been trained to hunt deception like detectives chasing footprints in wet soil, analyzing stories, comparing timelines, collecting contradictions as if truth were a ledger to be balanced. But deception rarely collapses under logic. It survives there, it adopts, it rehearses. Words are planets with carefully engineered orbits. They can spin forever without crashing. What betrays a liar is not the orbit, it is the flicker in the light. A micro-expression is not dramatic. It does not announce itself like thunder. It is closer to the brief shadow that passes across a distant star when something small and hidden crosses in front of it. A tightening around the eyes that vanishes before your conscious mind forms a sentence. A flash of contempt that appears and is swallowed. A tremor of fear disguised instantly as confidence. These are not accidents. In the vast architecture of the psyche, emotion is gravitational. It moves first. Thought follows. When someone lies, the emotional truth ignites before the constructed narrative can stabilize. The inner star flares, and then the mind rushes to cover it, like clouds scrambling across a sky that was clear a second ago. That rush leaves a trace. Micro-expressions last less than a heartbeat of time, a fraction of a second. They are ancient, older than language. They belong to the nervous system that evolved long before we could compose careful sentences. And because they are ancient, they are honest. They erupt before the mask is fully in place. But most people do not see them, not because they are blind, but because they are staring at the wrong galaxy. They focus on tone, on vocabulary, on whether the story feels smooth. Yet smoothness is rehearsable. Charisma can be practiced. Even tears can be summoned on command. The face, however, obeys physics. For a split second, it aligns with the emotional truth before the social self regains control. Picture two celestial bodies sharing the same space, the authentic feeling and the fabricated narrative. They cannot occupy the same orbit without tension. When deception occurs, the emotional core contracts, recoils, flares, or hardens. That movement travels through muscle faster than censorship can intercept it. A flash of disgust when affection is spoken. A flicker of fear when confidence is declared. A shadow of triumph when innocence is claimed. Then it's gone. The mistake is to treat these signals as courtroom evidence. They are not verdicts. They are weather patterns in a psychological cosmos. A single eclipse does not mean the sun has died. It means something passed in front of it. Detection is not about suspicion. It is about stillness. When your own inner sky is turbulent, when you are hungry for approval or afraid of conflict, you will miss the flicker because your attention is orbiting your own needs. But when you become internally quiet, when you stop needing the other person to be good, loyal, truthful, or aligned with your hope, your perception sharpens. The void between reactions becomes wider. In that space, the micro-expression becomes visible. You are not searching for lies, you are observing gravity. And something curious happens when you begin to see these brief eclipses. You stop arguing, you stop trying to force confessions. You no longer wrestle with the narrative presented to you. You simply adjust your internal map of the stars. If contempt flashes, you register contempt. If fear flickers, you register fear. You do not demand explanation from the sky. This is quiet power. A liar depends on your participation in the story. They rely on you debating the words, defending yourself, or relaxing into comfort. But when you see the eclipse and remain calm, something shifts. The illusion loses some of its force because you are no longer navigating by their constructed constellation. You are navigating by light itself. And here is the deeper truth. Learning to detect deception in others inevitably reveals something about yourself. You begin to notice your own flickers, your own brief eclipses when you say you are fine but feel resentment, when you declare certainty but sense doubt. The face does not only betray others, it whispers your own concealed truths back to you. In the end, detecting a liar is less about catching someone in darkness and more about becoming intimate with light and shadow. The sky is always speaking. Most people are simply dazzled by the stars they want to see.